Hey guys, it's me Megan. Welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I am not doing so hot. This has been going on for a while now, and I finally got enough information together and everything to kind of timeline out what has been happening like the past month with me. Make some coffee, make some tea, get ready for this long story time of what happened. So, bottom line, I got COVID and I got pneumonia. And this happened on September 30th, which was a Thursday, which was very strange because I was fine, feeling great, went to work, came home, took a nap, but like I normally do. But then when I got up, I couldn't walk. I was like an old lady, like my back was hurting really bad. And Lottie was even making fun of me over it because I was having issues standing up straight, my back was hurting really bad. And so I had been having some issues with my lower back and everything with the pregnancy because of the added weight. So I was like, okay, I think I need to go to a chiropractor. Now is the time. So we did our thing on Thursday, and then Friday night went to bed. So I woke up having to pee and I couldn't get out of bed. I didn't have the muscle capacity to roll myself out of bed to go to the bathroom. And so I ended up having to call into work because I was like, okay, I intended to go to a chiropractor after work, but apparently I need to go right away. So on Friday, went to the chiropractor. It was great. I've never been to one before. Knocked the air out of me for real. Or at least that's what I thought at the time. Who knew this was coming? But yeah. So I was feeling better. But I noticed that that day I had woken up with kind of a sore throat. And okay, now it's October in Michigan. It gets really cold overnight. So I was just you know what, I'm sure it's nothing, but just in case, I'm gonna go get COVID tested. That way, on Monday, I can go to work and be guilt-free and everything and should have the results by then. So, after the chiropractor, I went, got my little swab done, and then went about the rest of my day. Okay, so, then, October 2nd, Saturday, I get the results back, positive for COVID. And I was like, dang. Which is really weird because it's the 1 week or 10 days or whatever. I haven't done anything or seen anyone. I've just been working on the nursery and being at work, and that's basically all I've done the past 10 days, and that was when I got COVID. So I have no idea where I even got it from. But okay, great. So text my boss. It's all right, my symptoms started on Thursday, 10 days. I'll be back next Monday. So for the next week, I'm off on quarantine. And that was probably one of the worst weeks of my life. Every day I was getting worse. I didn't start that bad. I started coughing it was a productive cough. You could hear that there was phlegm and stuff going on, but nothing was coming up, and it felt like a dry cough. It was all just it was just sitting, whatever was in there was just sitting in there and just not moving. And so every day I was getting worse and worse. And I remember one day I was having a coughing fit so bad, and Lonnie was in his game room playing his game, and I had texted him and I was just hey, before you go to bed, or at some point, because he was staying up later than me, I'm can you come check on me? Make sure I'm still alive, because it's my coughing fits were just getting so bad. I started becoming loopy and out of it. And so I wasn't sure if it was from the cough medicines. I don't normally take cough medicine for that reason, because it makes me loopy. But I mean, he'd be talking to me about stuff, and I'm felt I was just high and floating, and I'm I don't know what you're saying to me right now. I have no idea. That's when I finally broke, and I was I need to go to the hospital. I had a coughing fit, and I just couldn't breathe after, and I was like, this isn't right. I should almost be fine. Like, I've never been this, I don't remember the last time I was this sick. And yeah, that was my first time ever going to the emergency room. Admitted Saturday, October 9th. And I stayed for 5 days. They put me on oxygen, and I had like one of those little pulsometer things that they do on the finger. Had to stay on me for 5 days. It's now the bane of my existence, is one of those things. I always thought they were so cute. Not anymore. But so yeah, they wanted to make sure that I was at least above 90 for me, like, to be good, but they wanted to make sure I was above 95 because of Maggie getting the oxygen too. So when I originally went to the hospital, I had contacted my OB first because Maggie was my first priority. And so she said that because I'm having difficulty breathing, make sure I go to the hospital, like, get checked in and everything. So she was kind of like the one overseeing everything to a point. She was my main person. So she called me and texted me every day, make sure I was doing okay. If I had like any information, she'd let me in and any information. She was really good, like, keeping me posted of like what's going on. So they did the blood work. It came back that, yeah, I had COVID, and then on top of that I had pneumonia. So during my 5-day stay, I did the non-stress test with Maggie twice a day to make sure she was okay. And then they did blood draws on me, I believe, twice a day. And we're making sure all my numbers were okay. So my blood pressure was fine the whole time. Because I was on oxygen, like, yeah, if I took it off, like, it would drop it, but otherwise, like, the oxygen was doing okay. They put me on, I think, 4 different medications, one of which was a steroid, which helped my wrist, by the way, that was like swollen and couldn't write. So I can write now, but can't work. Oh yeah, so they did the blood draws, making sure all the enzymes and all my stuff was all good. So after a couple of days, once my breathing became a little bit more better, they were like, okay, we're probably going to be able to release you to go home, but you're going to have to go home with a oxygen tank. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever it takes, just I want to go home. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. Everything was getting ready for me to like be able to go home. And then my blood work came back, and it turned out that my liver enzymes were high. And that is normally a sign of preeclampsia. And if you don't know what preeclampsia is, it's a very serious condition that usually happens during the 3rd trimester. And it's basically high blood pressure for you and for the baby, and it's serious. It's very deadly. And the thing of it is that it turns out that COVID kind of mimics the elevated liver enzymes of preeclampsia. So in the beginning, like when COVID first started, like they saw this correlation and was like, oh my God, all these people have preeclampsia. And it turns out they really didn't. They just had COVID, but it still could have been preeclampsia. So now I had to stay another day because we had to redo blood work and everything to make sure that I'm not pre-eclamptic and just have COVID, which, I mean, at this point, we kind of know what's up. So I was supposed to leave on the 4th day, ended up on the 5th day in the morning. They did blood work again, and we're checking my blood pressure, and my blood pressure is normally kind of like on the lower side, so like it was like fine, like the whole time all over again. I think like it was out of range once. And by the afternoon they were like, okay, the blood work came back and they think it's not preeclampsia, they think it's just the COVID, and it should be okay. And then I got the approval from what was it, infectious diseases. So infectious diseases also cleared me and said that like I've had COVID now for more than 14 days. Usually 10 days is the quarantine time, so I shouldn't be contagious to others and should be able to go home. Okay, then on October 14th, I finally got the discharge papers and was able to go home with a portable oxygen tank, 4 medications, one of which I had to give myself an injection twice a day. Oh, let's talk about that. So, also, if you didn't know, when you're on COVID and you're like in your 3rd trimester of pregnancy, you have a risk of blood clotting. So now that I'm home like twice a day, I have to give myself heparin injections, which heparin is just a blood thinner, just to make sure that no blood clots are gonna form while I'm slowly recovering. So we came home and Lonnie rigged the house so that I have access on the 1st floor. And we have the oxygen tank in the spare room because it is so loud. It sounds like a lawnmower or snow blower. And yeah, we couldn't leave it out. So we put it in the other room and then have like the hose. I think it's either 50 feet or 100 feet. I think it's 50 feet. And yeah, that's my mobility right now. So I have access to in here, where I'm sleeping, and then the bathroom, and then the kitchen. It was great to be home starting from the 14th, and then I was like, okay, done with the doctors. Not done with the doctors, but getting settled, getting better, getting healthy. And then yesterday, I thought my water broke. And it was like 9 in the morning, gotten up, and I went to go pee, and as I was walking towards the bathroom, all of a sudden there was a gush of fluid everywhere, and I was like, now I'm going into labor. Which, side note, that if you have COVID during your 3rd trimester, you have an increased risk of going into preterm labor. So I had just seen my doctor the day before, everything was fine, and now the next morning, my water just broke. And I call up Lonnie, and I was like, oh my god, get home now, we need to go to the hospital. And I'm freaking out, and I was just like, okay, like this is it. Now we're having a baby. So I got away from the hospital for 5 days, and then had to go back, and it was a false alarm. So we get to the hospital, they go and check to make sure my water had fully ruptured, and my water did not break. It was probably just fluid that just fell out. It seemed like a lot. I was like, that was a lot, and they're like, no, there's going to be more. And I'm like, how much more is more? That has been my past 21 days. That was up to yesterday, was our false alarm. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was kind of longer and kind of boring, and it was more story timey, but this is what's been happening the past 3 weeks now. I mean, over 3 weeks now. So I kind of want to give you guys an update of why I just fell off the planet. Just want to let you guys know I'm okay. Maggie's okay. Lonnie's okay. LT in general are okay. General's staring at me right now. There should be a nursery tour coming up, so that'll be fun and exciting. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.